Sullivan, engineering. Locke, engineering.
Preston, engineering.
Justin, engineering. Bryant, engineering.
Seconder, engineering.
Sadie, business. McDonald, business.
Johnson, business.
McElroy, liberal arts. Belser, liberal arts.
Rickles, liberal arts.
All liberal arts.
Starling, school of forestry.
I believe that's everyone, correct? Yes? Awesome. That snaked so well, and it made logical sense. Thank you, guys. All right, one more. So, after every single meeting, the executive secretary is going to be taking minutes. Well, I guess during every meeting, they'll be taking minutes, like right now. And I would like to invite our executive officers up, and then you guys are going to get a few introductions as well. Also seeing some familiar faces. And you guys can use the two mics in front. Either one. They're both unmuted.
Hello, this was on. Sorry, that's a long walk. But anyway, John Brett. I talked to y'all last week about how we're looking forward to this Senate year and everything. But I'll be serving as president. Just to say it one more time. And this is Steve.
Yep, and I'm Steven. I'll be serving as treasurer.
And so we just wanted to give y'all a few updates. So we have made our selections for our executive cabinet for this year. But one thing that's just like how this process works is y'all have to then confirm those appointments. So that's going to be something y'all work on in the first week or so of this term. And so we wanted to give them a chance to introduce themselves, tell y'all a little bit about themselves and everything. So just a heads up on what's about to come. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Michael Thomas. I'm from Auburn, Alabama. I'm majoring in finance, and I've been selected as the executive vice president of initiatives, which primarily oversees academics, athletics, campus life, and university operations. And I'm excited to continue to develop new ideas and carry on old ones through to administration and help SGA's mission statement carry forward.
Hey everyone, my name is Claudia Hubbard, and I'm looking to be confirmed as the next Executive Vice President of Communications and Marketing. This role essentially handles all of SGA's visual media, internal communication, and external communication. Through this role, I would hope to further reach members of the Auburn family by creative marketing tactics, as well as find ways to equitably market all areas of SGA, and that includes Senate. I'm looking forward to getting to work with all of you this year.
Hey everyone, my name is Molly. If we haven't met yet, I'm a junior from Tampa, Florida, and I've been recently selected to serve as the Executive Vice President of Outreach, and I'm hoping to have y'all's confirmation next week. But if you haven't met me, I've come a couple times to Senate to talk about how important feedback is, so that's a huge part of the role. But in addition to that, I'm overseeing diversity, equity, and inclusion, programs that we have like Heyday, Creed Day, Fall Feast, and then research efforts that we have. Super excited to work with y'all and see what we can get done this year.
Hello guys, my name is Tyler Ward. It's so cool to be back in this room again. I'm looking to serve as Executive Vice President of Cabinet Administration. This is a newly developed role, and what I'll be responsible for doing is just making sure that Cabinet is doing all that it needs to do, but also working with the internal affairs within Cabinet, so whether that's freshman forum or just our outreach and making sure that we are holding diverse, equitable, and inclusive practices. So I'm super excited to work with you guys on all of that. I'm hoping to get confirmed pretty soon, so thank you.
Why, thank you guys. That was absolutely awesome. And so now we're going to move into these college reports. So we are going to do this week. Now, let me just preface before we even get started. It's the first week. We are still in orientation. I'm not expecting anything outrageous. I would love for you guys to just figure out this process. So do not think you have to come up here and tell me about your college's new onboarding mission to do this, that, and the other. It's totally okay. So let's talk about do's and don'ts, though. Do share your feedback, share your insight, speak for your college, speak for the people who came here and appointed you. Share about how your constituents feel towards certain things. I remember last year, the library hours only being open till midnight was something that affected every college, but COSAM students were really not pleased about. So I came here and I voiced that opinion, and we were able to come to a change. Provide a recap of your committee meetings, voting results, and then ask us to do some work. Don't just come in here and present things that we're not going to be able to then act on. Maybe always spin things in a way that is giving us the chance to then further act on your ideas. And avoid, I'm going to go to the bottom because this one's the biggest avoidance. Avoid no report. I understand that every week we're going to get busy and that some weeks your college just simply is not going to do a lot. However, since we are doing those involvement office hours and the Senate office hours every week, let me rephrase that, your college office hours and then involvement office hours, you should definitely have some piece of advice or knowledge that you gain from that interaction. So if nothing else, let us hear about that. So don't simply just announce events that are happening in your school. I love whenever I get to hear about the awesome events that are going on around this campus. However, when it comes down to it, there's not much I can probably do when the vet med senator is announcing about a meeting that they're specifically having. That's awesome, but what can we do as senators for the whole body? So we want to make sure that we're not just giving notes about applications and events, but we're speaking to things a little bit more than that. And then, of course, avoiding announcing items that everyone know about. If you got up here and said, Miss Homecoming is next week, I think we all will probably be aware of that. So in saying that, I'm now going to invite all of us to give our college reports. So at large, we'll begin. And let me also preface, I think JD is going to share some things. Jamie, if you'll do this three swipe over with 3 fingers. Oh, other way. JD is just giving us a really awesome presentation that Dining has helped compose, that team of student affairs from last term. So I just want to preface once again, I'm not expecting any of you guys to come up here and do this. However, this would be a really awesome report to give.
Matthews at large. So yeah, just a little background information other than Cole just said. I was in student affairs last year with Steven, and we developed a relationship with Dining where we met with them weekly, every Wednesday. And we started about 2 months ago, and we set a goal of being able to create a poll to gather feedback on whether special nights. We set it for the state night, which was 3 weeks ago. And we discussed with them and throughout Senate which questions we wanted to ask, how we wanted to specify the questions, and really which feedback we wanted to gather. So the first question we asked was, what year are you to gather, see if it was relevant information, which it is, because it's 86% freshmen and sophomores. So that will provide us with information on Dining for the next couple of years, as well as incoming students. Then the next question was, did you use all your Tiger Dining dollars? And while COVID was a major factor, the majority still voted yes, which was exciting to see. And then we kind of prefaced that off of how can we better your experience. And you'll see throughout this survey that the main thing people are looking for is more variety and healthier options. You can go to the next one. This question was, other than COVID, what was the main deterrent? And like the 4th option says, lack of variety. So we really are trying to work on variety with Dining now. That's one of the main feedbacks that we saw, and so that's one of the main questions that we're going to take a look at and see what other feedback we can gather to see which kind of variety they would like. Which kind of leads us to the next question: what are dining halls lacking? They want healthier foods, Mexican foods, fruits, vegetables. This is the variety that we were looking for. This is giving us more feedback on how we can improve dining to better service their needs. And then this kind of just giving the kudos to Dining, we added what is your favorite part of Tiger Dining, and it's kind of going against itself because variety is their favorite. So that's kind of a little check in the check. But, you can keep going down there, Jamie. All right, so that feedback that we gathered was formal feedback that Dining created a poll, and we helped facilitate that feedback by going to Tiger Dining and standing as students walked in and getting them to scan a QR code, and they did that survey. So one of the main things that we saw with that was healthier options. So now Steven and I created this social media poll, which was an informal feedback of just kind of getting an idea off of what they think healthier foods are. So there was 4 options: made to order, fresh fruits, vegetables, and nuts, chicken, salmon, and plant-based options, and baked, steamed, and grilled foods. So now with this informal feedback, we can take that back to Dining and start discussing how can we implement these options to make healthier options more available, and then also providing graphics and such to show that when Tiger Dining is having chicken and salmon, hey, it's going to be this Friday at 5. So just kind of going off of that. And that's all I have. That's the feedback we gathered.
Thank you, Senator Matthews. All right, now the College of Agriculture.
Morgan, agriculture, and I do not have anything to report because this is my first time here.
You're all good. Thank you so much. All right, the College of Business. Sorry about that.
There we go. Okay, Brown business. Okay, we have a lot, but I tried to stick to the most that pertain to Senate and anything that we could do something about. So I went to coffee with an international student, and she said they would love international business major to come back. And I think that used to be a thing a little bit ago. I don't know who would be in charge of that, school's council or us. And then I think Senate was working on this, or SGA, but dibs in the other buildings. Like, people wanted dibs in Horton Hargrove Hall, and they complained that a ton of other non-business major students in the building, so there was nowhere for them to study. But I think something that would help with this is having classrooms unlocked when they're not being used for teachers or anything. And then some other things, someone suggested free printing, but I was thinking instead of people going crazy printing 100 pages, maybe do like a budget. You get a certain amount per week. And then a lot of people complained about the food place not being open in Horton Hargrove Hall, but I think a solution to this would maybe be a vending machine or something. That's easy and that's safe for the COVID, because I think that's one of the reasons that the restaurant is closed. But this could be where if you're studying late at night, you can get a drink or a coffee or any snack or anything. And people also said the Horton Hargrove Hall building being open later, but I think maybe if we could, I don't know if that would be school's council or anything, but like he said, with the library being open later. So that's all. Thanks.
Thank you so much. All right, the College of CAD-C.
All right, Henson, CAD-C. Nothing more to report than we are finally getting a meeting with the previous senators and school council. Have a transition meeting. We'll definitely have more next week.
Thank you so much. COSAM.
Nyack, COSAM. So pretty much, I do not have the data values and points that Senator Matthews did have, but I will say from evidence and just talking to some of the teachers, professors, specifically Dr. McKee, who is the lab coordinator for chemistry, she was saying that this semester lab turnout has been pretty good, and talking to my bio teachers and just getting a general gauge on the classroom settings, that turnover has been pretty good. And then the school's COSAM counselors, we're trying to get something going this week and see where we can get on the same page. But yeah, thank you.
The College of Education.
July education, so we don't have much to report, but our student ambassador applications are open and due on the 26th if you know anyone that may be interested. And we're still looking for a president and vice president for our student council. If you know anyone that may be, or school council, if you know anyone that may want to run. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, College of Engineering.
Justin, engineering, not much to report, other than that Brown Cooper has decided to follow the library's policy of food and drink. The cafe is now the only place where you can consume any food or drink, anything like that. And also, engineering is now working on a Google form, so it's just a QR code that students can scan, and that's another way to access their representatives. So, other than that, yeah.
The College of Forestry and Wildlife Sciences.
Forestry and Wildlife Sciences. So I've currently held 2 office hours within the school just to kind of get my bearings on how people will really engage there, because our school's council kind of seems a little rocky right now. There's a lack of interest in SGA, both on our SGA member side and on our student side. There's not a lot of roles that we play, because I think our ambassadors do pretty much everything within the school. And there's no connection between our school's council and our school's committees, like no communication, no collaboration of any kind, so that's interesting. So if you guys have any particular ways that your school's council operates that you're really proud of, any ideas for improvement in the School of Forestry that you've seen, please let me know. I'm ready for some changes to be made. And then also, I did have one student come to me during my office hours and brought up young professionals in training. I don't know if any of you know about that. It's a mentorship tutoring program. So he's kind of interested in seeing how we could be a part of that and get some of our School of Forestry students to participate in that. So if you guys have any information, please come see me. And as of my last office hours, I began a Google form kind of circulating through the students to kind of gauge how aware they are of what my role is, what the school council role is, and see how knowledgeable they are. So far, I have a whopping 6 responses. So again, lots of work to be made about engagement in the SGA. So that's all.
Thank you so much. And then I would ask for the graduate school. However, we were still waiting to appoint a graduate school senator. So the College of Human Sciences.
Okay, Williams Human Sciences. So the first thing that happened at about 5:30 today, Lucille Duncan is our new vice president on the school's council side. And then last week I conducted a survey about Wellness Day. It was supposed to be for human science students, but everyone took it, so I'm not going to say no to the feedback. And I'll have like a more in-depth report next week, so I know we have a lot to get through. But one of the figures that stood out to me was that 26% of the people who responded had said that they had assignments due on the Wellness Day, which was, a big no-no. And then as far as a class in College of Human Sciences that had something due, CATS 2600 had a number of people who said they had something due. And then 8 students responded saying that they felt like they had to come to class on the Wellness Day. So, like I said, I'll have a more in-depth report next week about some of the other figures, but there you go.
Thank you so much. College of Liberal Arts.
McElroy Liberal Arts. We set up a meeting with our school's council for sometime this week, so we're working on that. And then I also just wanted to speak on the Wellness Day. I've talked to a few people in the College of Liberal Arts, and they also had very similar feedback and said that I've had almost half of the people that I've talked to say that they also either felt like they had work to do on Wellness Days or had to use it to catch up from the day before because teachers overloaded them on that day. So I just encourage all of y'all to kind of get some feedback from your constituents as well in your individual colleges so that we can kind of get this problem fixed for the next one.
Thank you so much. College of Nursing. Still, nope. No, we have someone. Oh, wait, do we? Yes, yes, we do. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Okay, College of Nursing. Okay, I also don't think we have someone from pharmacy, but we do have someone from vet med. Victoria, are you here?
Yes.
Awesome, thank you, Victoria.
We're in vet med. I've already conducted a meeting with the rest of my school's council committee, and we set up office hours for the semester, and we've also sent an email to our student body just letting us reach out to them and with our information for them to reach out to us. Hopefully I will have more to tell you guys next week. Thank you.
All right, immediately following this, what we would do is move into the reports of standing committee chairs. And I guess now is a good time to announce for all of you who interviewed, you realize you did not get an email this evening, or previously to this evening. And so it is now my time to announce that those decisions, because of an extraordinarily strong applicant pool, will most likely be made sometime later this week between myself and Senator Sullivan. All right, and this is the order that they would go in, alphabetically, of course. Okay, so now we would have reports of special committees and liaisons. We do not currently, do we have liaisons here? Those, of course, yes, we do actually. Okay, let's hear it. I guess we can start with BSU. Is anyone here from BSU? Honors College? There we go, Honors College.
Hey y'all, my name is Luke Owens. I'm the new liaison for the Honors College. At this time, we have hired new executive positions within the program. We are restructuring and we are looking for new applicants for our chairs. We had our first meeting last week. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Then we would have the Student Veteran Association, but Leah emailed me and she will not be here this evening. And Freshman Committee, of course. Thank you. Leah has a dog, and he's amazing.
Watkins Freshman Committee. So currently we're focusing on gaining informal feedback from the freshmen to pick our freshman project for this spring. And some of those include mental health and parking. And some of the trends that we're starting to see, or at least I am, is a lot of students aren't aware of what SGA has to offer in terms of programs. So the biggest problem I think is going to be accessibility for this semester. It's one thing to have these programs available, but like Pups on the Plains, for instance, I was talking to someone about it and they're like, you can get a dog? And I was like, yeah, you can, but no one knows about that. So I think that's the biggest thing that SGA, Senate, and Auburn in general is just going to have to work towards this semester, is making sure that even though we do have these amazing programs and we are furthering them and their strength, we have to make them accessible, especially to freshmen and incoming students.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful, and that's exactly what I'd love to touch on just one more time, is that, going back to that point, you guys, making sure that we are both listening and we're also voicing. That's a great way to talk about it. Thank you. All right, moving right along, Jamie. So then, we would move into the current orders of business. So these would be the pieces of legislation that had previously appeared the week before as future orders that we would then bring to the floor, at which you guys would all have the chance to debate on or speak towards, and then we will vote on them as a student senate body. And then, of course, let's go through the types. All right, so there are 3 types of legislation that we can pass here as a student senate. There is a bills of law. Those are going to modify the code of laws. So those are going to go specifically into the code and make a formal change. Appropriate funds, approve appointments, and govern other enumerated powers of SGA. So that is us physically using our power to write into something or write away something. So then we have a commendation. That's going to acknowledge, congratulate, or recognize worthy merits on behalf of the student body. We commended facilities management here last term because of their rapid response to COVID and ways they were able to combat that and deal with it on campus. And then resolutions. That is basically us writing something that serves as a unified message of the student voice, of a majority opinion, and it's us basically doing exactly our job of serving, promoting, and unifying, representing the entire student body. And just 2 things, one more that I want to touch on really fast, is that I want you guys really to understand, because I'm not sure the full weight of it really hit me until the end of my term, and it's that for a commendation and a resolution, that is a very official piece of paper with our logo on top, written extraordinarily formally, that is going to be sent to the people we intended to receive it. So I know you'll see on the screen every single week, like I just did and you all did, when you came to the Transition Senate meeting and you saw that long reading of whereas and therefore. It's not just messages on a screen that they're going to get in an email. That is going to be individually hand-delivered to them with our stamp of approval on it, written in pretty font on a pretty sheet of paper. My point being, it means a lot to you guys. These things hold a lot of weight, and I want you to take them seriously, but just know the power that you have to pass either one of those two. All right, now let's talk about coding. Gonna seem confusing. When I was sitting in the seat last year, I myself was thinking, man, what does that mean? So I'm just gonna talk through individually these, and I think you guys are gonna get them. So let's just start with the first thing, PSS. That means Proposed Student Senate. It will then be followed by the letter of the type of legislation, ears open for this one, you guys. PSS followed by the type of legislation that is being presented. B in the case of a bill, down at the bottom, C in the case of a commendation, and as logic dictates, it would be an R for a resolution. So then moving forward after the colon, that first number, you guys can probably guess, it's the year that that bill or commendation or resolution was presented to the student floor. In this case, 21. It will then be followed by the month and date that this was presented as a current order. So 21/02/22 would mean February 22nd of 2021. It will then be followed by the number of that type of piece of legislation. So let me explain that. As you can see with the way we have these two bills going, it would be PSSB 21/02/22/01 for the first bill that was presented, and then the next bill would be 02. And logically, the 10th bill would be 10. We don't go out 3 digits because I pray for the day that we would have 100 bills go through this floor. But as you can see, it's going to change when we move to a different piece of legislation. So commendation becomes 01. If we had another PSSC, it would become PSSC 02. Furthermore, when we were to move down and if we were to pass a resolution alongside these other two pieces of legislation, it would become PSSR 21/02/22/01. Does that make sense? You're going to count down for each individual piece of legislation. However, when you move to the next type, it restarts at 01. We good? If you have any questions, let me know. I'm serious. All right. Moving forward, Jamie. Path to the Senate floor. Ears open for this one. Path to the Senate floor. So when you guys propose a bill, before you even propose a bill, you're going to consult your constituents. You're going to do exactly what we've talked about. You're going to go to your office hours. You're going to hear what needs to change. You're going to talk about it among your senators. And then you're going to go to administrators. You got to figure out if these ideas that you're hearing and these opinions that you want to see made into action, you've got to make sure that these things can happen, all right? So the legislation is going to be written. The committee that you are a part of then will vote to send that legislation to the Senate executive team. Then, whenever the Senate executive team is made and we have a time decided for our meetings, we will go and we will vote on that legislation and whether or not it is ready to go to the floor. That does not mean the Senate Executive Committee is going to vote on whether we think it should go to the Senate floor or what action should be taken by you guys when it makes it to the floor. We just want to know, is this ensuring the policies and procedures were followed, and can this go to the floor for then all the senators to talk about? From there, as we've spoken of, it's going to go to a future order. It will then become a current order, and that's when you guys have the chance to speak on it and then vote. And then, we talked about it last week, Mr. Rhett Wagner will have 10 days to either sign that into law or to veto it, and should he not do either of those actions for 10 days, it will be signed into law as if he had signed it. All right. From here, we would move into announcements and adjournments. Adjournment, singular. So this is when myself, alongside Jamie and Pearson, are going to have the chance to give you guys some tips and tricks. I myself don't have anything this week, but Pearson, now is a good time.
Before jumping into the Senate test, I'll go ahead and give my report. So for tonight's advisor's report, I want to talk about benchmarking. And so last week we talked about feedback, and it was great hearing all of y'all talk about ways that y'all have talked with y'all's constituents throughout the week. And so as like Cole was talking about, one of the things that's important before a bill becomes legislation when it's just an idea is in addition So our first point is just what is benchmarking. So by definition, it is to evaluate or check something in comparison with a standard. And then, so it's essentially asking how do Auburn's offerings compare to similar universities. So is Auburn ahead, behind, or equal to other universities on things like parking, housing, just so many other topics so that y'all's committees might be looking into. It's good to see, is Auburn ahead, are we the standard, or are we behind everyone else? One thing that's important too is looking at our peer and ASPR institutions. So peer institutions are universities that are very similar to us. As a general rule of thumb, it is always great to see what Bama is doing. That is something that our administrators are going to care about, just as their administrators are very interested in what Auburn is doing. And so when you look through these lists, it's a lot of SEC schools as well as regional factors. So you're trying to find schools that are as similar to Auburn as possible. So Auburn being a land grant, similar to North Carolina State, Mississippi State, and Oklahoma State. So very similar in a lot of ways when you look at it from face value in terms of being small towns, especially, and similar size enrollments. There's also our ASPR institutions, which are schools that Auburn strives to be like in a lot of ways, especially for if you're looking into academics. It's always great to see what schools that we are striving to be like academically are doing. If we're looking at schools that are ranked below us academically, then it's much harder to think about why we would want to do that because it could be moving us in the wrong direction. So understanding what peer and ASPR institutions are and knowing how these are always important to benchmark. And so the last thing I'll share is for my third point is this is what a final product could look like, and so, or really should look like. And I'll can include this in Box, which we'll give you all access to in the next week or so, but it's a template that just makes a table that allows information to easily be conveyed. So this was actually a benchmarking report that a student in SGA put together 2 years ago, looking at different apps that other universities have. So as we were looking at having a centralized app for Auburn, they were able to show how many apps Auburn had and where that stacked up to a lot of our peer and ASPR institutions, and then went on to use that to make a recommendation of showing how we did need to consolidate some of our apps. So as y'all are gathering feedback, it's also important to be benchmarking, and a lot of this can be done simply by Googling or going on the internet and then finding phone numbers of people, student senators at other schools, and getting in contact with them. So that's my report for tonight, and now we'll move into the Senate test. So the Senate test, Cole explained that, will be done electronically, so I'm going to email all of y'all. If you have not been confirmed yet, come see me, and let me get your email and can send it to you, so we can have that once you are confirmed. I'll send that right now.
Pearson, right before you do that, can I give Heather a chance to say a few things? All right, Miss Heather, I see you in the back, who's been standing there the entire time so diligently. I do believe she might have been intensely studying outside, which I saw her doing, and I believe she missed open forum. I was waiting for her. And so this is not necessarily how it will go formally. However, I would be remiss to let all of you not have the chance to listen to Heather speak. So thank you so much, Heather, for waiting there.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. One of my professors did unfortunately move a deadline up, so I had to scramble to finish that. But for those of you who may not remember my name from last week, I am Heather Mann. My pronouns are she, her, and I am the president of Spectrum, Auburn University's Gay Straight Alliance. Since we do not have a formal liaison to SGA, I will be attempting to come to SGA and give a little report during open forum about what we're doing every week. Unfortunately, we are still unable to hold many events and fundraisers, but we do still have our meetings every week. This week will be, I believe, learning how to cook and eat healthy for those who are learning how to try and fend for themselves now that they're living on their own for the first time. They're out of their parents' homes. They're not sure how to take care of themselves. So if any of you either want to learn some new recipes, or if you want to bring some recipes of your own to help our new freshman members, we would greatly appreciate it. We meet in Library 3035 at 6 p.m. on Wednesday, and I would look forward to seeing all of you here. And thank you.
Of course, Heather. So now I do believe Pearson is going to send you all that test. I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, but some things I'd love to remind you guys of are our mission statement: serving and serving and unifying the individual student, What am I? I just said it wrong again. Serving and promoting the individual student, unifying all that is Auburn. Should I go through questions first, Pearson, before the test? Okay. Oh my God, did y'all have the test when I told you that? Not to interrupt any of your thought processes, but if you are complete, I would ask that you shut your laptop so that I can see that you are complete. as much time as you want, and you can take it a second time if you don't pass. No worries. need a raise of hands for who is still. It removed all of your answers? Oh, that is an unfortunate quality that I did not know that test possessed. So, Ryan, if you're comfortable, just keep on chugging. I'd love to make some. So, other than Ryan, raise your hand. Oh, JD, did the same thing happen to you? All right. You got time. You know what? You got time. So sorry about that. Ryan, how's it looking? Okay, you're good. All right. Ryan, you keep going if you have to. So I don't have to be a wizard or a psychic to see some panicked texting among the room. And I would like to let you all know that I failed miserably last year sitting in your seat. And you have a chance to retake it. So do not think that this is a weed out process. This is simply making sure that when you step into this role, you've got a clear idea of what's going on. And there's no better way to have a clear idea than crashing and burning, because you'll never do it again. So for those of you who just looked at that and went, oh man, don't worry, you're going to have another chance. What I'm going to do is set aside a time. I think I'll reserve a conference room somewhere in the involvement suite with a block of like 4 hours, and you guys will have the chance to come in and take the test again. And before you do so, I would love to sit there and say, hey, let's talk through some of these questions. You'll be more than prepared. Do not worry at all. And if you fail a second time, I just might have to give it one more time, but we'll see. Other than that, Ryan, if you're still going, keep going. He gets bonus points, actually, because Claudia spurted behind him, apparently. So he was distracted. As I close this meeting, I want to say thank you once more. You will be getting an email from myself. 90% or higher is what's required to pass. So that's just missing 3 questions. By some nervous laughs, I have a feeling I'll be sending out quite a few I regret to inform emails. And if I do, no worries there. We are going to find a time when we're going to work through it. You'll have a sign-up time to come and talk through it with me. Other than that, I just want to say thank you for all being here this evening. Oh, whoa, one more thing. In my email that I send tomorrow with a little recap of what we talked about and an inclusion of this slideshow, which before you come and talk to me, I'd encourage reviewing that slideshow once or twice, both 1 and 2. I'm also going to include the graphic for AVP applications. And now that you are sitting here as senators, I am looking to you guys to share this media. We want as many people as we can, and what a better room that I have than a very involved group of diverse people to put that up in your story and encourage people you know, whether they've been involved with SGA or not, that they do have a chance to apply and let their voices be heard and their voices of their friends be heard. So I will send out that graphic as well. With that being said, happy Mardi Gras and good night.